Hey guys, today we got this 87 924S lifted up and we're going to be pulling the engine. This is an 86 engine that someone's put in here, and as I mentioned in another video, it's locked up. But I have yet another engine from an 87 that's in pretty good shape, just the cylinders are scored, so I'm hoping to put everything into this block. Hopefully it's not damaged in any way. But we're going to be taking this out through the bottom, and you see that I've got the head and everything off now, and we've got it up in the air, so that way once we remove the wheels and the cross member, we're just going to lower it down with my engine crane. We now have the engine out and we have it sitting over here. It's still locked up. I was kind of hoping that maybe it was just stuck on the torque tube or something. As you can see, there's no clutch or pressure plate in there, just the flywheel, but the engine's still frozen up at this point, and I thought that we would just go ahead and take this bell housing off and see what's going on. Bell housing off, and as I mentioned, there's no clutch disc or pressure plate here. It looks like maybe someone was grinding on this, or they put a clutch in and the springs hit this, but it looks more like a grinder to me. But anyway, this engine's locked up, and I'm gonna try and get it on the stand tomorrow and get it apart and see what we can do with it. So hey guys, today we're gonna be getting this engine on the stand, and the first thing I want to do is get this flywheel off. As I mentioned yesterday, it looks like someone took a grinder to these bolts, and unfortunately they're also stripped, every one of them. So what we're gonna try and do here is put some flat sides on here with a grinder, and then use a 17mm wrench to try and break them free. I just don't think there's enough room to get any vice grips in there, and not to mention these are torqued down to about 55 foot-pounds, so I'm not sure that you can get a vice grip to break them free either. And I think that just doing this would be faster than trying to drill it out, which is the next option if this doesn't work. So alright, here's a look at the red 924S that I'm building the engine for. It's a pretty straight car and everything appears to work, so just needs a new engine, and I think it'll be a nice car, so I'm pretty excited to get it back on the road. It is dirty. It hasn't moved since I bought it last December, so it's been close to a year, and right now I just have it packed full of spare parts and things, but wouldn't take much to clean it out. Like I mentioned, the car is nice and straight. So alright, we now have this engine on the stand, and we're going to be looking at why it's locked up. I also have that 87 that was on the stand now sitting down there. We're going to be using parts from that to get this one back together. Hopefully this block is in good condition. So alright, we now have the oil pan off this engine, and I don't visibly see anything wrong with it. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove these rod caps and see if we have a spun bearing somewhere. Alright guys, I got the rod caps off here and everything looks to be in great shape, so I'm still not sure exactly why this engine is frozen up. So while I got the oil pan off, I thought this would be a great opportunity to show some of the differences between the early and late pans. This is an early pan off the 86 engine that we're working on, and this one over here is a pan off an 87 engine. Now the first obvious thing here is going to be these channels and the baffling here. You can see that this channel does not go all the way to the wall there, and it ends where the baffling starts. Now on the later oil pans, you can see it does go all the way to the wall and continues along the plastic baffling. We back up a little bit so that way you can get a better view. Again, this is the early pan and this is the late pan. And you can see the way this is shaped. I imagine it's supposed to help with windage. And of course that's not all the differences. You can also see the hole for the oil level sender on the late pan there, whereas the early pan does not have it. So alright, now I have the engine broken free. I had removed the rod caps just to make sure I wasn't fighting a spun bearing or something, but anyway, it ended up being that cylinders 2 and 3 were frozen, and while I had the rod caps off, I just moved the crank out of the way and then sort of hit these with a rubber mallet lightly to break them free. And everything's bolted back up now. I just got to get this crud out of there. What I'd done was soak these in automatic transmission fluid, but despite that, I still had to whack them to get them free. But anyway, that was the issue. So I'm hoping to get this cleaned up, and hopefully I'm not going to damage the cylinder here, and we'll go from there. I now have the cylinder walls cleaned up and everything looks great now, so I'm just going to let it sit overnight. Then tomorrow we'll get out here, start cleaning this nasty engine block up so that way we can rebuild it and put it back in our Project 924S. So alright guys, I'm going to actually end this video with some footage of us breaking down this 87 engine. I had planned to use the footage in a future video of us rebuilding the engine, but cylinder number 3 is scored quite badly, so for now I'm just going to break the engine down and use its parts for other builds. Alright, we've got James here breaking down this 87 924S engine. On later cars, before you can remove the oil pan, you need to remove this oil level sensor here. And it's 3 8mm bolts. It's alright, when you're removing this, you can't just pull it straight out. You want to pull it out about like that, then rotate it 180 degrees and pull it out just like that. You can see how that is shaped, and the install is the exact reverse of that. You're going to put it in just like that, and you're going to get it about right there, and then you're going to put it in, turn it 180 degrees, and there you go. So once you have this out, you're ready to remove the oil pan. So right here we have another engine that someone's been into the bottom of. You can see that the bearing caps are marked 1, 2, 3, and so on. You can see there's some sludge in this engine. I believe someone was trying to replace the rod bearings since it had an oil cooler failure. You can still see that there's sludge in the bottom here, and that's actually RTV in this. And you can see some RTV here. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys that. And we're going to try and get this apart. This may have brand new rod bearings in here. So alright guys, we've been slowly breaking down this 87 engine here. Over the weekend I'm going to clean it up like I did this 83 block over here. So alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I now have a Facebook group where you can come over and post pictures of your projects, and I hope you do it. I'll put a link in the description below. Before I go, I thought I would show you just how nicely the engine rotates now. Anyway, I'm going to let this sit overnight and get out here tomorrow and clean it up. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.